sometimes will happen at times we have some technical issues that we had to deal with. But guess what? This will never gonna stop us just to move forward, right? And I'm actually very thrilled today to welcome somebody very special, right? He's the head of the esteemed Ashden Awards, and has been joining that organization recently. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, so Ashton, since 2001, they have been championing front runners, accelerating clean energy globally. So, and with the annual awards, what Ashton is want to do, they want to spotlight pioneers building decentralized renewables, you know, tailor for energy access context, and driving the energy transition, the just energy transition. And today, with the head of the awards, so Dr. Stephen Hall, so we're going to be unpacking the innovation, from Ashton, and look at what it's going to look like for next year, right? We're going to talk about potentially healthcare, transport, household, affordable in Africa, in Asia, in emerging markets. So recognizing those deploying all those solutions that are so much needed. Yeah, and I want you to join me and listen carefully because I think he has something very interesting to announce. Definitely, yeah. So without further ado, let me first of all invite Dr. Stephen. So, Stephen, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I think it's a pleasure for me to welcome you to the platform today. So, because I think you're going to be talking about something very, very interesting and potentially some money to win.
That's right. That's right.
So, so yeah. So, before we jump into that, maybe if you want to introduce yourself a little bit to people so that they know how we're talking about. And by the way, so if you happen to be watching this live, and you have any questions to Stephen or myself, so feel free to drop your question in the comment box or send that to me personally if you want to, and I'll be more than happy to convey the question, and we can discuss about that. So yeah, so Stephen, you were gonna introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Steve Hall. I'm head of awards at Ashden, which means I hold the UK and international awards for Ashden Climate Solutions. I've been with Ashden now for about a year and a half, and I came to Ashden out of academia. So I was into energy innovation in the academic space, and I worked in that in the UK and globally as well. So in the blurb for the show, Tony put me down as an expert alert. So I hope I can live up to at least half of that expectation today. But that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the awards. I want to talk about energy innovation, and I'm really interested because I'm a fan of the show as well. So it's great to be on.
Excellent, excellent. And I think we're grateful as well because you've been telling that you've been following us for, let's say, quite some time. And then I was always keen to discuss with you. And next, more importantly, you want to talk about something both you and I care passionate about, the awards, recognizing people that are working hard to put those solutions together, making sure that they can design the tomorrows that we're going to live on. So maybe if you want to, I know you have a quick presentation, you want to run through that. And after that, there's some key questions. But as I say, please, guys, if there's any question, don't be shy. Ask the question. Especially, Steve going to be talking about, so how can you participate in those awards? So what is the prize that you can win, and what difference it makes for you? So we're doing this show for you to make sure that this is something that there are support system out there to help you in the great innovation that you're going through. And yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about. So please, Steve, go ahead.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much. If you roll those slides, that'd be great. But the announcement is that the Ashden Awards 2024 are now open. So you can apply now. You can go online. You can find the Ashden 2024 Awards and find that apply now link, and you can apply to the Ashden Awards. The prize for anybody who's not in the UK, so anyone in the Global South, is a £25,000 unrestricted cash prize. That will be announced in the ceremony in the summer, but the process is open now. So the deadline is the 25th of January. So most people that are listening to renewables in Africa are going to know a company or be a part of a company or indeed leading a company who may well be eligible and probably are eligible. And I'm going to speak about the three awards that are specifically energy focused. So the first one is Energy Innovation Global South. This is the first year we've run this award. It's sponsored by our Government Department for Energy Security and Net Zero, who also own our International Climate Finance Brief. And what we're looking at here is a response to an award that we ran last year in the Integrated Energy Africa Award, in that there is an awful lot of innovation happening across sub-Saharan Africa and beyond, and in middle-income countries that we were not expecting, or at least we weren't expecting its depth and breadth and how exciting it was. So instead of being really, really specific about the types of energy innovation we mean, we've thrown that net quite widely and have said, look, if you're contributing to people gaining clean energy access, so that's not just energy access, that's people gaining clean energy access. If you're using social or technical innovation, and if you're working in the Global South, then this award might be for you. And before I introduce the sort of specifics of each of these awards, I'll say, like, why would you apply for an Ashden Award? So Devendra Gupta of EcoZen, 2018 winner, we've worked with our winners, particularly EcoZen in this case, the quote on the right there, since 2018. And we helped EcoZen grow, helped innovate, and subsequently they've been able to secure a 25 million investment in January 2023. So there's a really quite a steep growth trajectory, and we were able to support them, and we're very proud of that. And we've got a long list of those types of case studies where people that have won an Ashden Award have not just won an award and then gone home, they join the family. And that's sort of number one, is you join the Ashden alumni family, and then we're kind of committed to supporting and scaling and helping you from then on in, for as long as you will have us, until you don't need us anymore. And the point is to build the success of winners. So you join a family to build success, to show the world what it is that you're doing. And often what we find is people don't think that, it's very rare people say, I'm amazingly special and the thing that I'm doing is amazingly incredible. What usually happens is people think, maybe I am eligible for this award. And then they get further and further down, and we realize that they really are doing something quite special. So if you don't think that you are doing something special, yet you are working in this area, who knows, you might just be. And then the second award that I'll speak to is on the next slide, which is Powering Futures in Clean Energy. So if the last one was about the social and technical innovation, and by social innovation, I mean, it doesn't need to be a device. It can be how you're working with partners and communities, government departments, or other businesses. If that was about social and technical innovation, this is really about the people that have to deliver the clean energy transition. So we know there's a huge skills gap in delivering energy transitions across the world. That's not just in the global south. Like right here in England, we need to train a lot more people in retrofitting households because we've got 25 million really leaky homes. And as I look out the window, it's a very grey and cold November, and I'm having to run my gas central heating. So we've got a skills gap too. And we look at the skills gap across the global south for powering futures in clean energy. And we want to recognize those companies, organizations, individuals, initiatives that are really trying to move the needle on the skills gap. And so 2 weeks ago, we were able to award Borough Solutions Academy in Nigeria for the work that they're doing, training people in, a low wage economy that's faced problems caused by heavy industry, which has subsequently found that training people up in solar installations and skills and making a platform for them to access work is a great way to achieve human development benefits and also get more solar installed. So Borough Solutions Academy won that award, and subsequently Buradem, who leads that organisation with his business partner, has been very active in promoting the work of Ashden. So we're really pleased to see that. And then next to that is a quote from Julius from New Energy Nexus Uganda, who talks about the impact of winning an award in that they're able to use that prize money. It's not something that they've had to say, like, we're going to use it for this, and we've got like a big long list of deliverables. It's the thing that's right for your business. And then finally, a category that we've been doing for, I think we're in the 5th year now, in powering refugees and displaced people. So 1 in 8 people without access to clean energy is in a displacement setting. And by a displacement setting, I mean either a refugee or internally displaced. And that award is there to recognize that, refugees have an incredible amount of potential and agency to work on addressing that clean energy challenge. And we have found 4 such institutions over the past iterations of the awards, and we're out now looking for more. And our focus areas are sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia, but anywhere where there is a displacement setting, we will we will recognize that there is an access to energy question. And this year's winner, Asafi Green Energy, and I'm still sort of stopping myself saying these, but these were announced last week, so I can say them with freedom. Asafi Green Energy are working in Kakuma refugee camp, provisioning clean cooking to refugees, but they're doing so in such a way that enrolls the host community in dealing with invasive species as well. So it's a real great story of how ecosystem restoration and regeneration can come together with clean cooking in a refugee setting. And they're a fabulous company, and I invite you to check them out. So there's 3 awards. So there's £75,000 in prize money alone on offer. We also work with all of our winners to produce professional film, to get them on stage in London, and to curate a week's worth of introductions to new donors or financiers and investors, to policymakers, and then subsequently after that to do investor pitching with them, to work with them, to open doors in London that they just wouldn't, or globally, right? But like our area is global north and northern Europe, is to open doors that are just really, really difficult to open from, thousands and thousands of miles away. And we see that as our role, and we've been playing it for, like Tony says, 21 years. And yeah, we've got pretty good at doing it, and we really want to see the next crop of innovators come through. So the awards are open. We're a friendly bunch. So while you go on our website and you see, okay, there's, it's very well produced. It's a nice journey through. But the point is that you're joining a family, and we want to see the best climate solutions coming through. We want to award those. But one of the things one of our winners said when they arrived a couple of weeks ago was just how warm the experience was and how positive they'd felt throughout it. So sometimes these award schemes and accelerators, we're not an accelerator, but award schemes and things like that can feel like it's all about a massive amount of competition, and there is an element to that. But we really want to welcome new applicants, and that's the kind of invitation from this short presentation. But I'm really excited about speaking to Tony about the rest of what we do with our awards and what we think is needed for energy innovation in the global south and beyond.
Thank you very much for that, Steve. And that is really, 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 like I say, inspiring and interesting to see. And I definitely have a couple of questions for you. But before, I think there's a clip that I want to show, which actually one of your winner. But before I jump into that, I noticed that you have some, let's say, reputable brand that actually back the awards. I don't know whether you want to talk quickly about them. I saw LinkedIn there, Link Brewery, so Jack Trust. So yeah, maybe if you can say a couple of words about them. So
yes,
why are they back the awards?
Yeah, good question, Tony. So we began with Ashden, was a philanthropic organisation founded by Sarah Butler-Sloss of the Sainsbury's family, and we're part of Sainsbury's family of charitable trusts, and the two organisations supporting the Refugees and Displaced People Award. We have Sainsbury's Family Trust supporting that award, so it's something that's kind of close to the heart of the family of trusts that we work with. Also, we've moved beyond that to engage corporate and government sponsors. So you saw we had our department there, but also the LinkedIn sponsorship is really important to us and it's important to LinkedIn because they want to see that clean energy workforce grow. So there's real synergy between what we want to see, what LinkedIn want to see, and that's why they sponsor a Powering Skills in Clean Energy Award, because we really recognize that the skills gap is just as important as the technology and investment gap. You can have as much capital and technology as you want, but if you've got no one to wire it together and build the institutions which will deploy it, then it's just going to sit there on a shelf. So that's really important. We found some real alignment between ourselves and LinkedIn in that instance as well.
And that's great. And you definitely want to tell LinkedIn that we're actually running this interview live on LinkedIn. So
no, don't worry, we'll let them know. But I also I find people to apply for the awards on LinkedIn. Like, it's a great platform for that because people are putting themselves out there. I can search for them, I can try and find them. That's incredibly labor intensive. So if people that are watching this, want to get in touch with me on LinkedIn or get hold of me on email, it's simply stephen.hall@ashden.org. And tell me about their innovations, they can. But I will also be tracking people down on LinkedIn as well. It's a great platform for that.
No problem. So we make sure that we drop your email in the comment box in a minute. So what I want to do now, it's essentially very quickly show the clip that I have in here. So I don't know whether we'll be able to see. Are you able to see by any chance?
I can't see anything happening yet. I can see my presentation though. You could probably take that down.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's what it was. That's what it is. Let me just see that. I need to get your presentation up. Yeah, and share my screen. Can you see? You can see my screen now. Yeah.
I can see you, Tony. I can't see your screen.
You can see this. Okay. Let me just first, if I just start again, because I want to see if you can see. You should be able to see in a minute now. See the entire screen. That'll be better.
No, I'm afraid I'm not familiar with the platform, but I can still only see yourself.
You can only see myself.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's because I can see here it says stop sharing, and then but for some reason he won't share. Let me have another go again. If not, we're just gonna let it go. What I can do, I can share the link in the comment box, and they could see it, and they could do that. So normally I should have been able. Window, Chrome tab. Let's have another go. Does it work here or not? You can see
I'm sorry
the
to say I
screen.
can't see it. I hope not everybody on LinkedIn sat there saying, I can see
Okay, that's fine then. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. So that means most likely it doesn't work today. Not a problem. So what we do, we're gonna share the link on the comment box, and people can talk about that. No problem. So let's move into the questions, because I had a few questions for you. That, and I think people obviously listening don't hesitate to ask these questions. So I just wanted to know, because obviously you've been obviously working with the family trust for some times, and Ashton have been doing the this project for 21 years. You're talking about. So, is there any kind of a trend, exciting new trend or innovations that you are seeing in clean tech that is targeting underserved communities that you can talk about?
So that's the big question. So if I just wanted to get out there and find some incredibly fun trends in clean tech, I could probably find them and make awards to them. I think the real challenge is to make sure that the benefits of that technology reach underserved communities as quickly as possible. So, but it is true that it is happening in some instances. So, I'll speak about some of our winners and some of what we found last year, and then what I'm kind of excited about, and I kind of hope to see coming through. But one of the real benefits of the best part of the job, the second best part of the job after meeting our winners, because that's always hugely empowering. But the second best part of the job is sitting here post 25th of January, reading through applications and finding out new stuff, what people are doing. And last year, what we found was that there's a massive amount of innovation in batteries and storage serving underserved communities. So we found everything from people applied to us, telling us about how, in Kenya and in Kenya and Nairobi and in other cities, the electric motorbikes are starting to be seen as a resource for the electricity system, as well as just a way of reducing local air pollutants on the ground. So battery swap stations, intelligent charging, ways to link up. It's not just one bike, one driver, one battery. It's thinking about these electric mobility solutions as ways to integrate renewables. So we've started to see signals of that coming through. Now, it's really difficult to integrate storage into decentralized energy systems anywhere in the world. So it's really exciting to see that happening in African cities. And I'll speak this global South Energy Innovation Award is available across Global South countries, but we ran an Africa Award last year. So that's where a lot of my kind of excitement has come from. We saw companies like SLA Africa and Vittoria Technologies who are right-sizing batteries, who are finding solutions to battery recycling and reuse, which are no longer so dangerous as the recycling of lead-acid batteries. So we know that the recycling of lead-acid batteries and lead-acid batteries in general do enable a lot of clean energy access to underserved communities, but we also know the supply chain for that, particularly end of life, is really polluting, and it's pretty negative. So we found companies came to us, should I say, that are doing a great job of battery circularity. And then we also found, companies came to us like Beacon Power Services, who made the shortlist last year, who are digitizing energy grids, making them smarter. So making energy grids in Nigeria smarter, easier to track, customers easier to find, assets easier to manage. And that is absolutely essential to a decentralized energy future, or an energy future where more people can join and participate in cleaning up energy systems. So if you don't have a grid that you can see consumers on, then you also don't have a grid that you can see small loads on. You don't have a grid that you can connect small renewables to and then remunerate them positively through the energy market. So those companies that are doing grid digitization, might think of themselves as working in the kind of background or the asset sphere. And, is this really sort of the type of thing that you would apply for an award for? Like, absolutely, smart grids are absolutely necessary to enable the benefits of energy innovation to reach underserved communities. So I want to see more of that. And then finally, I am looking for, but haven't found yet, this is a personal kind of quest rather than an Ashden quest. I'm looking for like deployments of sodium ion batteries into energy access settings. Like, sodium ion is a much cleaner, less frightening technology than lithium ion, and there's also a lot more sodium ion in the earth than lithium, and it means we can diversify our storage chain. So I would love to see examples of that, or places where storage is starting to serve underserved communities. And then finally, the digitization element is critical. So we see fintech. I think fintech has the most startups in sub-Saharan Africa, and the highest investment is in fintech. Second to that is climate tech, and a lot of that is around digitization, particularly around energy systems, agricultural systems, and digitization of payments and finance and asset tracking and all of those types of things. Again, absolutely enable the benefits of that to reach lower income communities. So they're the kind of things that I'm looking for. But I also want to be surprised, like what's there that I haven't mentioned. I am not in Africa. I don't live in the global south. Like, it took me long enough to figure out what a reasonable and an exciting innovation is for the UK energy system. And now we're talking about 50, 60 countries' energy systems. Actually, I can't be an expert in them all, but I really want to. I would like to think that I can see a good innovation that's trying to serve its local community when it comes across my desk.
Excellent. So just one question, then I can ask a couple of questions that I've received to my mailbox. So how do you select an organization that will win? What is the selection process? And any criteria that you could share with people here?
Yeah, so the specific criteria for each of the awards is on the website. But I mean, I'll tell you what Ashden's looking for, and then you can kind of fill in the blanks of some of the sort of specific criteria. So the first thing I will say is that you've got a team of humans at the other end of the application process who read the applications properly. So they're good at what they do, and they're excited about climate solutions. So if you are putting an application together and are thinking about putting an application together, speak to a human being, because it's a human being that's going to read it. And then subsequently, what we're looking for is something that's available. So you can purchase it now, your users can get it now. It's not a plan, it's like it's actually available, because what we're trying to do is accelerate solutions that exist. We're looking for stuff that is climate compatible. So it either decarbonizes existing energy systems or agricultural systems, or it decarbonizes a system, or it doesn't make it any worse, because we're also looking at some awards that have got adaptation as key to their outcomes. So they're climate compatible, and that are looking for the kinds of help that we can give, right? So that are looking for new introductions, that want to tell their story, that want to grow, that want to, come to London, that have got a plan for the future, that we're able to celebrate them in such a way that we can try and put some infrastructure behind them to back them into the future. So they're the things that we want to see. And then beyond that, it's individual award criteria. So the Energy Innovation Award is nice and wide. The Skills Award is focused on skills, and the Refugee and Displaced People one is focused on energy access in displacement settings. And really, it's about that simple. And the rest of it is things that you would expect us to look at. Like, for example, how are underserved communities being involved? What is the role of women and girls? How do you make decisions aligned with local communities and those kind of things that you would expect to see on someone that we wanted to put on a stage and say, look at these people, they're doing a fantastic job.
Excellent. So one question that I've had, which is here. So how could visibility event like COP? Obviously, we have to say that COP 28 is starting. I think this week is on Thursday, and effectively, so we can expect a lot of talk, a lot of conversation about climate change, renewables energy, all of that, and obviously it's going to die down afterwards. But Ashton obviously continues beyond it, right?
Yep.
But how could hi-fi event like COP support and encourage organizations to like yourself to go forward and innovators to be recognized annually? So I don't know if you have something to say there.
Yeah, so we are running some panels at COP. We're particularly focused on our Power Up campaign, which is looking at how can the adaptation challenge and the energy access challenge come together. So we have policy messaging on that, and that's particularly important when you recognise that if we allocate new finances to adaptation, the energy access in particular is hugely important when you have an extreme weather event. Like it's your communications, it's your water pumping, it's your agricultural systems, it's early warning systems, all of those things. So we have a panel there, and we also highlighting some of our refugee energy entrepreneurs as well to demonstrate that the Clean Energy Access Challenge applies to people in displacement settings. And as frustrating as it is, there are likely to be more people on the move forced through climate migration. So we really need to get that right. So there's two things that we want to see at COP and that we're bringing to COP. But how could COP itself be more kind of inclusive of these solutions? I think we need to get a lot better at drawing a direct line between the types of negotiations that are happening in COP and the solutions to the problems that they're facing. So and I'll keep banging on about this until it actually happens, but how do global North governments move 100 billion per year into global South? How do we make a loss and damage fund work? Like, we want to see that resource and those money going into climate solutions, and the bigger list of them that we can make. And it's not just us, there are other awards and accelerators and programs out there that are pointing to these climate solutions. How do we draw a direct line to a negotiation in a room at COP saying, right, we want to move X amount of billion into climate solutions? What do they look like? Well, they look like this. Here's a list of winners. Here's a list of organizations. Here's a list of companies ready to grow. That's how COP can do this. Like, it's also true that they have these discussions about things like Article 6, like how do we do state-to-state offsetting? There are discussions around carbon finance, and then subsequently at Biodiversity COP, it'll be biodiversity credits. We want to show that there are solutions out there that have got human development benefits, have a massive effect on climate, and they just need the right architecture of resources to get to them. That's what I want to see COP do, and I want to see it move quicker on it as well.
Okay, excellent. Another question that I have received, guys. I know you like to be sending me a question, but feel free also to answer directly yourself if you wanted to. So you can do that. Just type in the comments. But apart from that, let's carry on. So, do you collaborate with other awards or funders focused on sustainability, once recognizing pioneers? I'm not sure what I understand, but the key question is: do you collaborate with other awards and funders?
Yeah. So
and how does it enable impact?
Yeah. So there were a couple of specific examples of the past couple of weeks. So we speak to the World Habitat Awards. Like, how are we doing? How are we doing something outside of energy? We do natural climate and natural climate solutions award, and we do that with Indigenous and local communities. So we speak at length with other awards about how are we doing that in the most sensitive way possible. How are we not just importing our ideologies onto Indigenous and local communities, both in the global South and in the UK, by the way, and we share best practice in that. We also we nominate for the Earthshot Award. So Earthshot, more people might have heard of Earthshot than Ashton. One of my jobs is to try and change that, but there's a resource barrier to it. But we also nominate to Earthshot, and S4S Technologies also won an Earthshot prize 4 weeks ago now, and they were an Ashton winner a few years ago. So we we are there to share best practice as well. So it's not just about applying to every single awards category. Like we will share, well, these people came to us, but they might not be right for us. They might be right for you. And then we get, we get contacted and saying, look at these amazing people, like they're perfect for an Ashden Award. And then we'll get them to apply. So that's how we collaborate together.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. So another question that we received, I think you will like this one. By the way, I'm just let me just share it as well. I've shared in the comment box. That's Stephen's email. So if you want to reach out to him directly to talk about the award, that's fine.
It is.
So the next question is the money question.
Yeah.
So is it 25,000 for one winner, or could it be split?
It can be split. We've split it before. I think we've split it this year for different winners. So if you apply together with another organisation, you can apply to split it in half. It's really then for the applicants to decide what to do with it. And if I get my little wish list and my to-do list comes up, which is next to me, then it goes beyond that £25,000. Like our job is then to connect you to more resources and more opportunity. But yeah, you can split that price however you like. It's also one of the things that is quite helpful is it's to a degree unrestricted. Like it's not something that you have to apply for. Like this is a capital project and it has to be a new thing. I think one of the things that the entire community that's trying to move money from global north to global south context could do a lot better is recognize that new things are not always necessary, and supporting what's happening now is important. So winners in the past have used it to fund staff members to do studies about how they might enter a new market. It's about like, how is this best going to support you?
Okay, excellent. So like dictating to people how they're going to use the money.
Nope. I mean, winding up the company and going to the Seychelles is probably not what we would hope to see, but really, it's there to help. It's there to help companies and organizations grow and thrive and do even bigger what they've been doing so far.
Excellent. Let me just take one last question before we can wrap this up. So, and the question is, how can government better support homegrown energy innovators bringing sustainable electricity to remote areas?
That's a great question. So bringing sustainable, so we had 2 winners this year who are a great example of that. So Power for All applied with their Utilities 2.0 partners for the Twaka project in Uganda. And it was it was a real lesson to me in how collaboration with, so Power for All worked with the utility, Umeme, with the government, with Equatorial Power, with Enegro, who's an asset finance company, to figure out like, how are we going to sort this problem of, we give people an electricity connection, but they don't have the assets to use electricity. They don't necessarily have the finance, the funds, like the income to pay for electricity, and they might not be used to using it in their community. So they came together and said, look, these non-vending connections are not working for anybody, and mini grids are competing against main grids, and it doesn't work. So they made a partnership approach, and it was an incredible lesson in just how governments, utilities, mini grid providers, asset financiers can come together and figure out a model which is going to work for communities. And that model actually recycles the mini grid to the next community and the next community and the next community as main grid connections come along. And that works as you're extending the grid edge. And that was a great project, and we awarded it, and I look forward to seeing it thrive. And then for the Outstanding or Lifetime Achievement Award, we awarded Husk Power, because they have got that type of model of asset finance, community education, trust, building trust with communities, mini grids, etc. But in rural areas, which are a long, long way from the grid and are not a grid edge, they're just a long, long way away. And Husk are basically carrying the rural development element of electricity access. And ideally, they just want to be an electricity company, right? But the message seems to be that if you don't pay attention to what it is the community needs, what the anchor loads in the communities are, and then subsequently what the incentives are for the different types of institution that are working in that geography at that time, then you're going to struggle. So yes, it can be about government tariffs and tariff limits on mini grid tariffs if you want it to be. But it's also about trying to figure out a model that works for that country, for that geography at that time, because it's all different. Everybody's got a different legacy energy system. Everybody's got a different set of legacy institutions, and everybody's got a different set of local economic conditions. So it's the people that are coming together and trying to figure it out on the ground in each individual place that are really starting to move the needle on energy access, as far as I can see.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. So, Steve, I think that was very good. So, I think it's we learned a lot about the Ashden Awards, and we're really urging people to apply for that. And just to give you one more chance to really pitch the award to people, I'm just going to give you 30 seconds just on your own, right? Basically, and one final word that you want to say for people listening to you. So, why again should they be applying for the award? So, yeah.
Because it's a universally brilliant thing to win. It makes the people who come to London and be with us happy. It boosts their business and what they're doing. And then finally, if you know someone who needs this boost, send it to them, because quite a lot of the time people don't think that they're the one that needs to be on stage, and quite often they're the ones that need to be on stage winning an award and getting a boost. So it's about recommendations and sending this to people who you think deserve it, as much as it is about whoever's listening now thinking, yeah, maybe I'll apply for that. So that's my final ask to people.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. So I can only thank you for coming today to talking about the Ashden Awards, what it has been doing for other people before, the other entrepreneur, how it has been transforming their life. And as you rightly said, this is a stepping stone. People not just winning 25,000, they're just winning some accolade. They joining a family of people who's going to support them to go further and bigger. And who knows, they maybe actually next time the next step could be maybe extend 10xing the turnover, just because they've been able to attend the award, and also to come to London and to mingle people that can help them further. So we can only support this kind of initiative. That's why I was very pleased to have you today. So Stephen, coming and talking to us about that and presenting that to us. And then we're hoping that next stage you're going to be coming and announcing the winners or the winners. And we're going to be also celebrating them in this platform. So thank you very much for today. And then I'm definitely expecting to talk to you sometime shortly. Thank you, Stephen. Bye. Okay, I think you've heard everything about the Ashden Awards. So as I say, Stephen Hall has been giving you a lot of reason why you should be applying for that. The price is good, the money is good, 25,000. Nobody will say no to that. But it's more than just that money. So you joining a family, you joining a support system, and God knows, that is what is needed, especially when you're doing your innovation. You sometimes feel on your own, you feel nobody listening to you, and you just want to get a little bit of support, a little bit of advice. This is what you have there. So that is what this award is there for you. So the last day is on the 25th of January, 2024. So make sure that you apply to that. Who knows? You may be the next winner, and we may be the one. You may be the one coming to this platform and talking more about it. Yeah. So I clearly can't, encourage you enough to participate into that. I also want to urge our audience definitely to look at the previous entrepreneurs that have been there and to honor them and to support them the best you can. And to policymakers watching, supporting the efforts that is put out there by the Ashden, by long-term policy, by funding commitment, consistent with clean electrification timelines remain imperative. Let's collectively discuss how we can better resource pioneering work that prove that collectively we can do a better job. So it was a pleasure for me talking to you today. And again, we're going to have some other speakers that we're going to receive into this platform. So the expert call for renewables in Africa, promoting clean transition and clean energy. So thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.